Hello, my name is Harriton Boatco. The topic for this program is a year in review. We have Citizen Bono, Homo Bono, and Dasa with us to discuss the many issues about the Duterte presidency. Citizen Bono, let's go straight to the point when it comes to the measurement of the 1 year of Duterte. Let's start with martial law, the current martial law in Mindanao.
Martial law is a mistake. As a matter of fact, I called martial law within the parameters defined under the Constitution. No?
But isn't that a rebellion?
No. It's not enough, Harry, to have rebellion when public safety requires it. And if you go to Mindanao today, the only place where there is really trouble is in Marawi City.
Marawi lang. That's it.
There is a rebellion there, and public safety requires it in Marawi City.
But the rest of Mindanao, you don't feel it?
There's no spillover.
In CDO, wala
CDO,
spillover.
I've been there for 2 weeks.
Wala, you walk the streets, okay lang.
And I walk the streets rotted with mud holes. No?
But the ISIS influence, or the Abu Sayyaf and this terrible Maute group, and the other crazy terrorists, so to speak, they have sporadic, they've been coming out sporadically in different areas.
You know, that's the problem with us here in the Philippines. We have preceded many other countries in the world. Some of the best policies have been, and some of the worst.
Yes.
In the case of the ISIS. Before the ISIS was born in, in the Middle East, we had the Amoks.
Amoks?
We had the Amoks in Mindanao. As a matter of fact, that's the reason why the 45 caliber pistol was invented by Pershing. Because it was difficult to kill the Amoks.
Lumalaban eh. They just keep charging.
Keep on killing left and right. Okay. Second, long before the ISIS cut the heads of people in the Middle East, the Abu Sayyaf have been doing it.
Yes, they've been doing it
They have
for
been
years.
doing it. They probably are in imitation of what these people have been doing it here.
Nauna pa, no?
And as a matter of fact, the major slogans of Trump, America first. America first. In the 1950s, the first president who initiated Filipino first policy was Carlos P. Garcia. Carlos P. Garcia in the 50s. That's the Trump is an imitation of Garcia's Filipino first. Another, make America great again. It also started in the Philippines.
Sa atin ba yun?
It started with Ferdinand Marcos.
Oo nga pala, no?
Make the
bagong
Philippines
lipunan.
great again. Making new society. And the slogan is to make the Philippines great
Which is
again.
the same thing. You're
the
right.
Same thing.
Ang bagong lipunan.
We preceded these people because the Filipinos are really brilliant.
So,
Very
on the
brilliant.
point of view of martial law, you disagree with that?
I disagree with that. Probably
Not necessary, in other words.
it's not necessary. As a matter of fact, the problem is the aftermath. I'm really concerned with the aftermath. Because now, my perception is many of these people who got killed in Marawi are not Mautis. Many of them.
Well,
Because continuous bombing.
Continuous
bombing.
But citizens, 70 plus, military, 70 military, 110.
300 plus.
Ang terrorists.
And sabi nila about 50 civilians. But checking the terrorists, they have not really done the total verification. You know, what's the aftermath? The aftermath is, first, it will galvanize the people in this area, especially in the Muslim
Magagalit
area.
yung mga
In
yan.
the Muslim, you don't know the psyche of Mindanaoans. The psyche of Mindanaoans is like the psyche of our family. We fight each other, we debate with each other, but when there's an outsider coming in, we unite to fight the outsider.
Yun ang delikado doon.
That's the Mindanao psyche. And you know, the president should have been watching the TV coverage, children crying,
So mga evacuation centers.
and old people saying, please, Mr. President, you lift martial law. Because, look, from Cory up to Pinoy, their enemies were CPP and PA. Active in Mindanao. MILF, BIFF, and then MNLF. These people, these elements now are friendly with the administration. That's what they see. Rebellion all over Mindanao, no martial law was declared. Now,
isolated
declaration of martial law. Kaya nga, my recommendation is for the president to lift martial law. Maybe after 60 days,
Well,
it will expire. No?
He's
It will
saying
expire in
already
60
that,
days.
yes, he only has about 25 more days
Yes.
for martial law.
And
But
even
the
now,
Supreme Court is ruling, well, it's supposed to be ruling.
on the 6th,
Yeah.
on July 6th,
That the
under the
martial law.
Constitution. No?
Yeah, that under the Constitution. Kasi naman actually, kaya naman ng President to redeclare it if necessary.
No. My position is you don't have declare martial law because
It's not necessary.
the military can be used
Which
without
they-
declaring martial
yeah,
law.
Which is what.
The police can be used
Correct,
without
correct.
declaring martial law.
How
So,
about the campaign on the war on drugs?
the war on drugs? The policy is beautiful. Implementation is also bad.
It's poor.
Yeah.
Bad or poor?
Very
Bad.
poor.
Very poor.
As a matter of fact, they say tokhang. You know what's tokhang in Cebuano, in Bisaya? Tok-tok, knock.
Tok-tok.
Hang is hangyo, a contraction of hangyo. Request.
Dak-dak.
Tokhang.
Sabit ka namin.
Ang problema, in the implementation, it's not really tokhang. It's tokhang for the privileged. It's tokhang for the powerful. In Forbes Park,
correct.
the knock and the hangyo, request. But in the poor areas, tukhang, hindi tukhang, tukbang.
Tukbang.
Bang,
Bang.
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 Hindi tama yung ganun. That's why this AJK thing.
Kaya lumalabas.
You know, there's a way of doing things. Harry, if these people were imaginative enough.
The economy, how he's handled it.
The economy.
Yes.
The economy, that's the bright light of the administration. It's a bright light. This guy from Davao, Sunny is doing fine. No?
Yeah.
And the policies are pretty good. No?
But do you agree? Because the problem of Noynoy, while his economic measurements or successes were pretty good over his 6 years, di ba, lang si 7% siya, hindi inclusive yung poor.
Yeah.
Do you think it's inclusive with Duterte?
I don't believe so. That's the problem.
Okay.
I don't like the use of all presidents here, except Marcos. No? Yung trickle effect. What should be trickle effect? Trickle means droplets.
Okay.
Droplets for the poor. Mahirap yung ganyan. That's why the figures are there. You know, if I were Trillanes, but, Trillanes is not me.
Wag naman, kasi I would, if I was Senator Trillanes, I'd hide my face. I mean,
Yeah, precisely. I watched the interview.
It's really sad.
No, but I expected that kind of interview with Trillanes because, you know, this guy was a client of mine.
Sundalo, hindi naman.
Yun na nga. He's not prepared for it.
Yeah, hindi niya
He
kaya.
should not have
Yes,
interviewed himself
Yeah.
with this, no?
Hindi niya kaya, hindi niya kaya.
Pag totoong Pilipino na mahusayan, sasabunin yung sakur na yan.
Kaya baliktad. So do you agree hindi talaga inclusive?
It's not inclusive. That's the problem. Okay, the figures are there, but the problem, it remains the same. It
doesn't go down.
go down. Trickle effect. Mahirap yung trickle effect.
How would you measure the performance of the president when it comes to the China crisis, the West Philippine Sea, Scarborough, and our islands, the intrusion of the Chinese military?
You know, Harry, I know your views here, but I must disagree with you.
No, that's why.
I disagree with you. And I do not normally agree with Justice Carpio. I normally do not agree with him, though he comes from Mindanao. But in this particular,
Mindanao pala yan.
there is a point of convergence, between him and me. I fully agree with him that, the president should have taken a stronger posture after winning in the arbitral tribunal. He should have taken a stronger posture.
But if America couldn't push China out, who are we to push them out?
No, but I should have, if I were in their shoes, this is what I would have done.
Okay.
I would have sent a secret emissary. After Trump said, and Tillerson said, no, they were quoted in media all over the world that they will not allow the Chinese to go into Scarborough.
Correct.
So I tell them, you said you'll not allow the Chinese to go to Scarborough. Yeah. I am going to bind you on your words. Because, here...
But they did, they allowed it.
Yeah, but the problem is they didn't do it, okay?
They didn't do it.
If I were president of the country, you know, diplomacy is in two levels. Even on the national plane, no? There are open policies and secret implementations.
Mga backdoor to eh. Sige,
Oh,
sige. No, kasi ang nahuling na ano ko dyan sa backdoor, si Trillanes, and he was the last guy. Naipit siya dun eh.
Si Trillanes is a bad,
Bad
bad
representative.
representative.
But ano
on
dapat?
the backdoor
Continue.
level. If I
Carry
were
on.
in the shoes of the president, which I would have done, okay. If you cannot protect us, you do not want to be the countervailing force in these particular areas, we deserve protection. We'll cancel EDCA. EDCA and BFA. That's what we're going to do. We'll fend for ourselves.
That's a good point.
We will fend for ourselves if that's what you want. But if you want to have presence in that area, we can have joint forces, and then I can negotiate with China openly, with you behind
So
me.
ipitin mo muna Amerika, stand up to your word,
Yes, stand up to your word.
na since di mo kaya,
Ganun
lapit na kami.
Out ang BFA, out ang EDCA. Why not?
There is talk, if not, they're about to break ground on the train system. And even the budget, just today, the president said in the local newspapers, it says that Mindanao will get a fair share of the budget this time around, for the very first time. Now, trains are supposed to be built in Mindanao by the Chinese. Do you... ba't ka natatawa? Talaga naman. Citizen bonus. Sige, sige.
I cannot help laughing because the experience of the Chinese in building trains in,
Okay. Baka tumirik.
in many other places in the world, is not very happy, you know. It's not very happy. If you are talking about trains, in this area of the world, you talk about Japan, no? They really built some of the best. As a matter of fact, they're importing the bullet trains, you know, to many other places. In the other,
Well, they built the trains, they built some of the new rails in Singapore, although they had problems. It's Chinese. They do have problems.
That's precisely the point.
But
it's good to have the money of the Chinese here. Why not?
Wag lang sila ang gagawa technology
Huwag lang
nila.
silang gagawa. Let's talk to the Japanese. You built the railway here in the Philippines, not only in Mindanao, but also here in Luzon.
Do you think that Duterte's foreign policy is confusing like Trump's? Because it's not really hindi crystal clear where we stand.
That's true.
Nalilito ako eh.
Si Ambassador Garcia, no, retired ambassador, I was reading his column. Sabi niya, you know, we really don't have an independent foreign policy because instead of staying with the Americans, we have jumped from the frying pan to the fire. The fire is China, no?
And Russia.
And Russia. You know, I've always been in favor, no, for a developing country. Before, when I was still a student at the University of the Philippines, I was for Marxism.
Talaga?
Marxism is a very good instrument for development. But when you reach certain level, you have to do away with Marxism. You have to do away with communism. You have to do away with them. Because when you reach a certain level of education, you don't need these instruments anymore. These are instruments to bring about changes.
Tools. Only tools.
These are only tools.
This is not the end.
As a matter of fact, in the whole world today, not even China and Russia believe in communism anymore. In China, two systems in one country.
Capitalism. Hindi pwede, no?
In Russia, it's really capitalistic now. They have the problems of capitalism.
But authoritarianism is the main concept,
yes.
the main rule.
Yeah, integrated into the system.
Integrated into the system.
If there's going to be a revolutionary government here, and if they want any help, I'm not volunteering. I am only asking if they want any help. I can help them orchestrate it. No, I might sound cocky at times. I'm just reading the book on Robert Kennedy, and he was very cocky before. I've been telling some of the men of the president, no offense meant, that if I were Secretary of Justice of the President and I fix a timeline of 6 months, I will demolish illegal drugs in that period.
How? How do you demolish
No,
drugs?
I cannot talk about it openly. Harry, I'm sorry, I cannot
Yeah,
talk
yeah.
about it openly because it's bad enough that some people are think that I'm dictatorial.
But the drug issue has been challenged
Because
all over the world,
Yes,
and they have
yes.
not been able to find
they
a
have
solution.
not been able to do it within the democratic context.
Ayun, the
Yeah,
democratic
within the
context.
democratic context. That's why it's a failure here. Because we're going to do it within the system. It cannot be done within the system. But that's my point.
It cannot. It
If I-
cannot.
I'm,
You have to change the system first.
if I'm the Secretary of Justice, without having to do even a revolutionary government first, I will implement the policy of the President. I will implement. And on the fixed timeline. No extension of the timeline. If I can't do the job, he has my irrevocable
But with
resignation.
the democracy that we retain, hindi pwede.
Yeah.
Hindi nga pwede.
You have to retailor the approach. Retailor the
There are
approach.
ways to
There
do
are ways of doing it. There are many ways of killing a cat.
Where do you find the president in the next 5 years, considering we have just completed the first full year?
If he does not reshuffle his cabinet within the next 6 months, he'll have
Problem.
terrible problems. He'll have terrible problems.
Like Tugade, it's all
Within-
talk, wala nangyayari.
Togadi,
Even Aguirre to a certain extent.
Aguirre is a problem, etc. He has many problems. So he has to think now. Get rid of KKK.
Ayun.
Pinoy belongs to the Middle Ages. The KK policy, no? When President
But you
Ramos...
gotta remember, the president was a mayor, tsaka wala masyadong social networking yan nun.
Wala nga. Ramos was president. He asked a friend of mine who later became executive secretary. Idel Abante is dead now. He's all rest in peace. So he was asking me whether I'd be willing to talk to the president. I'm like, "Yeah." So I went there, private citizen. And one of the things that I told President Ramos, you know, Mr. President, this is one of the first things that I can contribute to you. If you really want to have an effective presidency, choose men in the cabinet who are not interested in jobs.
Baliktad.
Choose men. Don't ever choose yes men because you don't need yes men. You need men with critical thinking who will be able to help you solve problems. Because if you are going to jump into the cliff, you have yes men. They will say jump into the cliff.
Yeah.
But if you have people of critical minds, say, hey, that's the cliff, Mr. President.
yeah.
Stay away from it. That's necessary. I told President Ramos that, if he still remembers. So.
But the personality of the president, President Duterte, does a lot of things on the fly, very much like President Trump.
No, but
He's outside the norm.
he should rethink himself. No?
Ayun.
Rethink himself.
Reinvent himself if necessary.
Yeah, reinvent himself if necessary. Yeah, in my last column, which was in Facebook, I said, you know, Henry Kissinger said that if a man does not know how to be president the first day of office, he will never learn till the end of his term. That's the rule.
Oh my gosh.
But there are exceptions. I hope the president does not belong to the rule, especially because he comes from Mindanao.
That's a very scary scenario.
Yeah,
You
precisely.
realize that?
Yeah, that's my point. He should take into consideration what President Kennedy has said. In politics, you have no permanent enemies or permanent friends. You have only permanent interests.
Correct.
And he has articulated that over and over again in his speeches. Country first. No? As a matter of fact, though I object to the use of the word my, no? My country, it should be our country.
Our country.
You know, he's spinners. You tell him, Mr. President, mahirap yung my country. No?
Sa bayan ko, hindi pwede.
No, it sounds narcissistic.
Bayan natin.
Oh, yes. Mahirap yun. You know, this is what I learned when I was editor-in-chief of the Philippine Collegiate at the University of the Philippines. Never use the word I. When you're writing an editorial, it's always we. Column,
we.
it's always we.
We.
Because
Our.
Our, not my.
Us,
mine.
not mine.
You know, the joke before with Mrs. Marcos is, you know, she
that's
was in
mine.
the mining business.
Yeah.
That is mine, this is mine, that is mine. Precisely, that should be avoided, you know. There are people who should
Do we
be able
still
to
have
suggest
men
that
of
to them.
integrity, Bono, until
In
now?
this country?
In this country.
Yes.
But how come so many presidents and we're failing.
Yeah, it's because they don't feel at home with people who are not their friends. And one of the major problems of the presidents in this country is they're afraid of brilliant men. The exception is Ferdinand Marcos. He was not afraid of brilliant men.
That's a good point. No?
Yeah.
Takot sa mas magaling.
Oh, takot sa mas magaling. Marcos was never that.
Yes,
In my
yes.
talks to him, I had several talks with him and trying to persuade me to join him. And I just diplomatically
But you were with
refused.
immigration. Was that Cory's time?
No, that's during Ramos' time.
Ramos'
And by
time.
the way, I'd like to tell you how I accepted the position. I was in Japan when Doy Laurel called me, president of our party as vice
Yes.
president. Bono, you better come home. So why? Because President Ramos wants you to be the immigration commissioner. Doy, I don't like that job. What's the matter with you?
Yeah.
I rejected chairmanship of the COMELEC. I rejected Solicitor General.
In-offer pala sa'yo,
And it-
Comelec, ayaw mo.
There were 3 positions that were offered to Major Intendant Ramos to choose from by De Venecia and
Yeah.
Joe is still alive.
Yeah.
No? And by Idel said, Justice, Immigration, Justice, Commission on
COMELEC.
Elections, and Solicitor General. I said, Joe, no, Solicitor General, you have losing cases.
Oh, you have
Ask me
losing
to be
cases.
Solicitor General. You know what, Joe De Venecia said? Bono, you're a man of ability and talent. You can be Secretary of Justice, Solicitor General, lose all your cases and become Chief Justice of the Supreme Court. No, Joe, I'm not that kind of a lawyer. You know, there is a Solicitor General who lost all his cases and became Chief Justice of the Supreme Court. And he mentioned the name, and I don't like to mention it here. And the other ones, Comelec, I would have accepted it, except that Joe, kinalabit ako, but there's an election, you be friendly to us.
Yun ang problema.
The suggestion, I told him, Joe, I'd like to remain friends. Not even my wife can tell me what to do when I am Comelec. No? Not even. My wife tells me many things that I obey. But as chairman of the Comelec, my wife cannot tell me what to do. Yeah.
We have to end the show, Citizen Bono. What's your last message to the presidency and the people? A 1-minute message.
My last message to the president is, please, Mr. President, rethink the last 1 year. You have pretty good policies. Pretty good, no problems. It's implementation, Mr. President. And as that book that I've been reading now, it's the presidency that is at issue. And the presidency does not refer to one person. It refers to the people around you who should have critical thinking and who should not be yes men. Because yes men don't help you. Yes men don't help you. Now, you still have time. You have more popularity than any president before you.
Correct.
Now, you should not waste this honor given to you by our people. No, the moral support. As a matter of fact, when I talk to them and I'm critical of your policies, the president told me, you're anti-Duterte. I said, no, I'm not anti-Duterte. I'm trying to help by offering ideas of how things could change. No, so my point is, the people should also open their eyes. Open their eyes. No, we should not debate. We should debate, but never on the personal level. Because I was telling Vice President Place before, who was being personal with me, we fought each other in Misamis Oriental. I said, Ning, let's not be personal. Because the moment you get personal, you go down to the level of violence. We're educated people. No Cortes. As you said, no Cortes. Luquita lo valiente.
On that note, we're going to have to end. Obviously, it is not a year in review, but the year in anticipation. What to expect and what we aspire for. I think maybe that is the more important part rather than looking at the review and asking for a grade. So, what does that mean? Maybe it means more than just sitting there and watching and listening. It requires participation and a bit of critical thinking. That's exactly what I try to do and here in GNN with these programs, to generate, incite critical thought. That way you participate. After all, it is one's responsibility to be a body politic, not necessarily by having to serve, which some should, especially those with competence, but at least be in the know of what's going on. Thank you very much. We hope you've enjoyed our program. Thank you very much, Bono.
God bless.